Huge news this week. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on federal charges of bribery and fraud, notably accepting illegal campaign contributions, allegedly, and luxury travel from Turkish nationals. We understand he's going to enter a not guilty plea. He maintains his innocence. Here's what he had to say.
It is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies.
This would make him the first mayor in modern New York history to be charged while in office. Mr. Adams says he's not going to go anywhere while all of this unfolds. What's the background here?
Yeah, so Eric Adams, prior to becoming New York City's mayor, he was the borough president of Brooklyn. And before that, he was a state senator. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So the allegations against Eric Adams are not necessarily new allegation in terms of alleged corruption. I've spoken to friends who currently serve in New York's legislature, and they say that when Eric Adams was state senator, he was allegedly involved in, pay-to-play schemes, other alleged corruption, incidents. So it's not like this just came out of nowhere. His, inner circle has been in the eye of authorities for more than a year now for similar allegations that they've also been kind of brought in for. With Eric Adams in particular, I hope that he doesn't resign. I hope that Governor Kathy Hochul does not seek to remove him, which she can if she wanted to, because the second person in line to hold that office right now is Jumaane Williams. He's our public advocate in New York City. He is a far left socialist person who does not belong anywhere near that position of power. So I hope Eric Adams sticks his ground, says that he's innocent until proven guilty, and lets the judicial process play out as it should.
I have to say, from an Australian perspective, the idea of a leader staying in situ while there is an investigation like this going on or charges being levelled against you is extraordinary. I mean, it just doesn't happen here. We have cases, multiple cases, where premiers have come up before anti-corruption inquiries, and the minute there was any allegation, they were gone. They resigned. I've got to step aside. Obviously, it doesn't work like that, or at least they don't do that so readily in America.
Yeah, and thank God. The reason I say that is because America is one of the, a unique situation where you are innocent until proven guilty. And nobody should be forced to face punishment, so to speak, such as, having to step down or being removed from their post just because there are allegations against them. And if you take Donald Trump as, the pinnacle of all this man has been the victim of multiple lawfare campaigns. If we had a standard where somebody had to step down or couldn't run for office just because allegations were, lodged against them, Donald Trump wouldn't be in the position he is right now, being the Republican frontrunner. And it's important because we know that 2 of the lawfare cases have already been tossed out. Right, that they had no grounds. Jack Smith wasn't even supposed to have brought them in the classified documents case, all this stuff. So Donald Trump has been vindicated time and time again. So I think it's important that Americans allow people to continue on in their capacity because they are innocent until someone can prove that they're guilty.
Now, each week we get more evidence of how the Democrats just seem to have no idea what's going on. Here we have Biden saying that Harris had responsibility for most things.
As vice president, there wasn't a single thing that I did that she couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to delegate her responsibility on everything from foreign policy to domestic policy.
But here is Harris discrediting all of those policies that Biden, quote unquote, delegated to her.
We just need to move past the failed policies that we have proven don't work.
I mean, the Trump war room may as well give up. They don't have to write anything.
Yeah, she's not only throwing herself under the bus, but Biden and his press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, have consistently made sure to remind the American public that Kamala Harris is, of course, tethered to the Biden-Harris administration. And I think that Biden even has more of an onus to do that, considering he was ousted via a coup allegedly led in part by Kamala. So he has more reason to do this. And I think Kamala finds herself between a rock and a hard place because there's only one of 2 buckets that she falls into, so to speak. The first is that Kamala had nothing to do with the past 4 years, which means as vice president, she sat by, sat on her hands and did nothing while this country burned. If that's the case, that's disqualifying, right? A leader knows when to take action, knows when to step up, knows when to get rid of your commander in chief when he's cognitively declining. The other option is that Kamala Harris, which is true, was intimately involved in what the administration did because she was vice president. She was delegated responsibilities for elections, for border, and she failed.
Very quickly before we go, we saw the numbers this week on campaign donations, and what it's shown is that Google and Microsoft are donating huge amounts of money to the Democratic Party. They control nearly 100% of what we use on the internet, and now they want to control the government as well, it looks like, Brianna.
Yeah, we don't necessarily need this data to confirm what we know. If you go back just to July, 13th through 17th, if you went to Google and you search assassination attempt on T, the first hit was assassination attempt on Truman. Second one was assassination attempt on the Pope. The top 10 hits did not even include Donald Trump. And so Google has had this huge monopoly on information that is shared and spread. Recently, they encouraged people to go out and register to vote. And if you clicked on the link, it takes you back to Democracy Works. Democracy Works is part of Democrats' well-funded and well-oiled election machine. That's not a nonpartisan avenue, that's a partisan avenue. And Google controls and directs users to there.
Brianna Lyman, thank you so much for your time.